So, this is the Coldplay watch. So as a Coldplay fan and as a watch fan, I wondered, does such a thing as a Coldplay watch exist? And I found out it does, thanks to a charity campaign called Whatever It Takes. So back in 2013, they were selling this watch along with all these other consumer products that had artwork donated by celebrities put on it. So Coldplay donated their piece of artwork and was put onto mugs, phone cases, and this watch. So looking at the watch itself, so the case comes in at 36 millimeters stainless steel. The thickness is just over 10 millimeters, lug to lug of 47 millimeters, lug width of 20 millimeters. The crystal is mineral. If I had to guess, there is nothing that tells you what the crystal is made of. And then a stainless steel bracelet with a folding clasp with no safety lock. So looking at the watch, everything on this watch is polished. The case is polished, the bracelet is polished, even the sides of the links are polished. Everything is made to look kind of fancy and almost make this sort of a dressy type watch, especially with that fluted bezel. So this watch comes in this case here. When you open it up, you get a certificate of authenticity, which is a nice touch, and you get the watch, and that's about it. What is interesting is that there is a QR code on the back of the box that redirects you to the Whatever It Takes website, which is still online and functional. It looks like it hasn't been updated in a while, but it's fun to go on there and explore all the different pieces of artwork you have there. And what's really cool is that they have a link to the causes that the campaign was meant to support, so you can actually see where all the money went. So looking at the watch itself, there isn't a lot to tell you about what the watch is actually capable of. When you look at the case back, it'll tell you that the watch is water resistant, but it won't tell you how much water resistance the watch actually has. Same thing with the bracelet. It'll tell you that it is stainless steel, and that's it. There isn't anything that reveals manufacturer information. When you get the case back off, it'll tell you that the movement is Japanese, which is great, but it doesn't tell you anything beyond that. So when you look at this watch, one thing is clear. It is a cheap watch, and the focus is not the watch, it's the artwork. So when you look at the dial, it's nice. The outside ring of silver is pretty, but sometimes it can almost blind you if you're wearing this watch outside and in the sunlight. The color of the center is nice. It's a little bit on brand today because it's almost a Tiffany blue. The artwork is cool, and the Whatever It Takes signature at 6 o'clock is fun, but that's kind of it. The hands look like they might be treated with some kind of lume or luminescent material, but they do not. This watch has no luminescent qualities. And even the seconds hand, you look at it, it almost looks a little bit bent. Like it's literally bent out of shape. What is nice though, that I like about this watch that other people might not, but I enjoy it, is that it has a noticeable ticking sound. So there are definitely other areas you look at this watch and you can tell they've cut corners. The bracelet, for instance. So you look at the fold over clasp. There's, like I said, no safety lock. So thankfully this watch fit me, because otherwise I would have had to buy a strap. There is micro adjustments on the clasp itself. There's 5 points, but there is no removable links. In fact, when you look at the side of the links, you can see where the metal has been folded over itself, and some of the polishing has gone off. It's a very weird, and it makes the watch feel cheap and less special. So it is nice that this watch is quartz, like it would be anything else, with the level of manufacturing it has, but the watch itself is really difficult to set. That's because the minute markers only appear at every 5 minutes. So you have to wait until a certain time to set the watch, and you do get hacking seconds, but the hands are very unstable. They're very sensitive. So when you're actually pushing the crown back into the watch, then you wobble the hands just a little bit, and it feels like your watch isn't being set properly. So who is this watch for? I think it's for folks like me. If you enjoy Coldplay and you enjoy watches, it's a really cool thing to have and to wear, and know that people who see it won't think much of it unless they know what it is. So I think it's a really great watch in that respect. But for the average watch collector, there's not a lot to write home about. Yes, you do get trendy things like a fluted bezel and some Tiffany blue on the dial, sort of. But it's not the watch that's the point. It's the artwork from this famous group. It's the fact that this watch and all the other products sold were generating money for important causes. So obviously things like removable links weren't much of a priority when they were making this watch. But I still think it's really cool that it exists. I think it's cool that you can have these two passions combine for this watch. So when you really boil it down, so for the average watch collector, the value of this is not that strong. But for a Coldplay fan, it's priceless. Thanks for watching.